you filthy swines! Get in here, sit down, behave yourself. I'm going to read some stuff. One thing I'm curious about is whether AI is going to find patterns on Earth that may reveal potential locations for archaeological digs. I know there are examples of roads that have been found in the Amazon simply by looking at the different patterns of trees that have been growing there. So I wonder, what else are we going to find using AI to scan all of our different surveys of various locations? Well, this article on good old Daily Mail, written by Stacy Liberator, mysterious triangular structure spotted in the Nevada desert fuels lost civilization theories. The strange triangular formation in the Nevada desert is fueling speculation that it may be the work of a long-lost ancient civilization. Spotted on Google Earth, the structure is located in Battle Mountain, surrounded by sharp, jagged mountain ranges with deep valleys and ridges. The structure is a large, sharply defined triangle clearly visible from above, with each side nearly straight, creating an almost perfect equilateral shape. The center of the triangle is empty, though faint linear marks hint at past human activity. An image of the formation and its coordinates has flooded social media, where users suggested it could be a lost man-made pyramid and are sure it is very ancient. Others have proclaimed the triangle is a universal intergalactic warning sign. What? Okay. While the discovery has sparked wild theories, other social media users have shared a more realistic take, saying the structure is nothing more than the remnants of an old airfield. A triangular airfield, maybe. The formation closely matches the outline of the Buffalo Valley Intermediate Field, an emergency triangular airfield built in the 1930s and 40s along early aviation routes. I've seen similar examples of strange structures dotted around that were part of an early air postal system used as markers for these aircraft to fly along certain routes. There would be arrows on the ground that would point in certain directions. So perhaps this is one of those, actually. Maybe this is a postal pointing system. In Nevada and other western US deserts, triangular airfields were common in the 1930s and 40s, serving early aviation needs as mail routes and emergency landings. I just said that, yes. The airfields were intentionally designed in a triangular pattern so pilots could land into the wind from multiple directions. Experts say that while such sites may look unusual from above, triangular airfields were once widespread across the American West, particularly in remote desert regions where emergency landing options were critical for early pilots. Many were unpaved and have since been reclaimed by the desert, leaving only faint impressions visible in satellite imagery. The unusual shapes have fueled speculation about mysterious or ancient structures. Some enthusiasts compared them to other enigmatic desert formations worldwide, sparking debates about lost civilizations, secret government projects, and even extraterrestrial activity. Well, you wonder, in a far future, anybody doing archaeology looking back and finding giant concrete triangles on the ground, they may end up thinking, it's some kind of deep religious symbology. We always seem to have those interpretations of whatever structures we find in the past, that they have something to do with the harvests, the moon, the sun, and, some deity or whatever. But maybe they were just prosaic. Maybe the pyramids were nothing more than, I think they've been described by some people as power plants. Who knows what they were? But they don't necessarily have to be some kind of profound religious monument. They could have been very materialistic in some sense. Last year, Google Earth users spotted another mysterious triangle structure in Nevada, this one located within the highly classified confines of Area 51. After a shot of the tower was posted on Reddit, one user said, "It's where the aliens test their various white powders." What do you mean? Is that supposed to be a joke? What? Someone else posted, "Obviously alien technology. It pops out when the Earth is done." What? Another joke there that I'm missing the punchline for. On Google Maps, the unusual structure can be located using that coordinate. It is adjacent to a vast network of buildings, cars, and runways that form the highly classified region officially called Homey Airport or Green Lake. The tower has what looks like a long looping dirt pile growing around it in the shape of a noose and an imposing shadow from the Nevada sunshine, leading one Facebooker to call it a very accurate sundial. Google Maps does not name the structure. Well, it's on a secret airbase. Why would it? I'm surprised it's not blurred out. However, there appears to be a rational explanation for the tower. The towers are used for radar cross-sections testing where aircraft or mock-ups are mounted to measure how detectable they are to radar. One Facebook user explained its shadow and elevated position matched the known appearance of this type of pylon structure used for mounting full-scale aircraft models or prototypes. Variously described as 150 feet and 190 feet in height, it was reportedly constructed 20 years ago but was only acknowledged by the US government in 2013. Largely due to the US government's secrecy surrounding its military efforts, the site will likely continue to inspire such far-fetched theories. Interesting. Yeah, I'm personally find it annoying how a lot of these archaeologists, when they look at any remnants of some ancient structure, it seems to be the automatic assumption that they were in some way related to some religious significance, which I just think is quite lazy. I think there are potentially other explanations for a lot of these structures that we see around the world, and not necessarily to do with some kind of long-forgotten hocus pocus. So this, probably, as they've described, is some kind of triangular airfield. I've seen other examples of giant concrete arrows in the ground dotted across America that were used as waypoints for airmail. But could you imagine if we dug up something from 10,000 years ago that was an arrow? Would we be blasted with ideas that it was somehow pointing to some deity in that mountain over there and significance with this or that half-known religion or whatever? I don't know. They always seem to float in that direction, and I'd be interested to see if there's more industrial explanations that could be used for a lot of these very ancient structures. I think there's stuff down in Peru that looks insane, like injection molded granite blocks, which just seems impossible based upon our prejudice that thousands and thousands of years ago we were all just hunter-gatherers. And to build structures like that would require a pretty sophisticated industry, even if it isn't necessarily even steam-powered. If you cast your mind back to like the 1700s, to the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we were still using a lot of water wheels, we're still using a lot of things pulled by animals. You can get a lot of industrial power. In fact, we use horsepower as a gauge for the power of vehicles now. So, yeah. Anyway, interesting article. But that is it for now. Make sure you hit that like button. And the only thing I have left to say is Pigwig out.
Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oink, oink, wee, squeal, snort, snort, oinkity, squee. Oink, oink, oinkity, squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Snort, snuffle, oink, squee, squeal, wee, snort, oinkity, oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, wee, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, oink, oinkity, squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, wee, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, oink, oinkity, squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Squeal, squeal. Snort, shuffle, oink, re-squeal, re-snort, oinky, oinkity, oink, 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 snuffle, re-squeeze, snort, oink, squeal, oink, oink, oinkity, squee, squee, re-re-re, snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinky, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 re-re-re, re, oh. Squeal, squeal, snort, snuffle, oink,